You can start with the continuous consonants, the f, r, s, v, z. Subscribe for more early literacy videos. Hi there, my name is Mijibat Akarede, and I'm glad to bring to you today the full alphabetic stage of reading. This stage is that one stage that determines whether your child becomes a fluent reader or stays stuck. Now, let's break it down. Full alphabetic stage is a critical stage for early reading acquisition. Sometimes we tend to focus more on the pre-phonemic awareness stage or the partial alphabetic stage. Those stages are very important, I must tell you, but they are not as important as this full alphabetic stage. You need to help students to move from the partial alphabetic stage. You have to move them from using partial letter cues to processing all letters in words. When you understand this full alphabetic stage, you know that this is a major shift towards efficient and accurate decoding. And as educators, we need to understand this stage and we need to know the kind of instruction we should prepare for our children. Now, I want to tell you the key behaviors in full alphabetic stage, and you need to understand what students do, how they behave, and what they're capable of doing and how to support them. Now, students begin to process all letters in words. When they see a word, you will see them, whether they are watching TV or they are just passing by a gas station and they saw some words written there. They will take their time, they will look at it critically and start processing all the letters in words. You will understand that they will try to start decoding and start to blend the letters. When you observe them critically, you see that they are trying to decode the words, they are trying to sound the letters, and they will try to blend them. And this is the stage where you need to support them. You need to help them out. So they use decoding and blending to read unfamiliar words. Once they know words, patterns, some words that are familiar, they can use that knowledge to read unfamiliar words. Then they can connect reading from letter sound correspondence. So they use the written form, the letters, the ABC, like the letters in print. They connect it with the sounds those letters are making. Once they start reading words, start getting familiar with words, then they start growing sight words knowledge. They will have lots of words in their word bank, because at the sight of some words, they will just read them, they will just pronounce them, because they are growing sight words knowledge and they are getting familiar with so many words. How do you support children's decoding and blending skills? Students blend words sound by sound. B, A, T, R, E, D. Sound by sound. Parents and teachers, you need to help children to build long-term memory for words. At, sat. So they are blending words sound by sound. The sight word development, they read high frequency words. These words are like common words that they see, and at the sight of them, they will not make effort to sound them, they will just read them because they've seen cat, mat, or big, or can, or the. Frequently, they've read it many times. So once they see them, they pronounce them. Sight words support reading fluency. Once they know a lot of words, they don't need to get stuck on sounding words sound by sound. They just read them. So, and it supports their reading fluency. When children combine phonics with their sight words, they improve accuracy, they improve confidence, they become, and parents will be very joyous and happy that our children are reading and things like that. What are their spelling characteristics at this stage? Students typically spell short vowels and they spell them correctly. So when they see a word, they know that bat. At the partial alphabetic stage, you can recognize the initial letter and the final letter. But at this full alphabetic stage, my dear, they will break it down for you, sound it correctly. Bat, kat, red, ad, the ad, and so on and so forth. They use that knowledge to like graduate to other words that they've not even met or they are not familiar with, which is the concept of the final E. When a child sees pain, pain, they know that this is pain. But sometimes when they see pine, as in Pine with the final E, they tend to call it pain or pine. Funny, right? They are not confident in reading the final E, but they know the CVC word confidently and they'll read it to you joyously. Why do you think this stage matters? Why do you think it is important? This stage marks the transition from partial alphabetic stage to being a confident reader because they constantly use letter sound relationship to decode anything they read. They use that knowledge of letter sound relationship, graphing phonic correspondence. They use that knowledge to decode words. Then they depend less on context clues or pictures or colors because they are decoders, they are champion. They read unfamiliar words independently. You don't need to present them the words, you don't need to read it to them. They read the words independently and with confidence. They build the foundation for automatic fluent word recognition. How do we support our students in this stage? Teaching them to read with the phonics knowledge has to be systematic, it has to be explicit. Break it down, follow it step by step. For example, you're teaching CVC words, at the same time, you're teaching words with the final E, and at the same time, you're also teaching other form of long vowel. Let it be systematic. Then let's talk about the core phonics skills that you need to prioritize. Number one, blending practice. Blending is very important for you. Like, let us be like, when you have your daily coffee or daily meal, blending practice is very important at this stage. So I'm going to talk about 3 types of blending that you can practice with your children. The first one is single sound blending. Single sound blending is when you have ah and so you can put a sound button beneath each letter. So s, a, t. That is single sound blending. S, a, t, sat. S, a, t, sat. That is single sound blending. So they sound the letter individually, like s, at, sat. Let's say you have your 3 fingers. Each finger represents each sound. So you can s, at, sat, s, at, sat, s, at, sat. Sometimes you can play game like s, at, s, at, sat. When you sound them individually, s, at, then you put it together, sat. That is single sound blending. Now, let's talk about the successive blending. The first 2 sound, like the first sound, s, then you take the next sound, a, s, a, sa, sa. Then you take the next one, sat. This is very useful, especially when you're dealing with long words. So this is successive blending. S, a, sa, t, sat, sa, sat. Now, continuous blending. You have the word, you call it together, like you will not break, like sat, 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 or mat, 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 without breaking. That is continuous blending. You can use these 3 ways to teach blending. The single sound blending is you take each sound individually, sat, then you blend it together, sat, 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 sat. Then the successive blending, you can take the first to sa, then you take the next one to sat. Then the continuous blending is sat, 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 sat. I must let you know that when you start blending, you can start with the continuous consonants. The continuous consonants are letters that when you call them, you can sound them continuously, like l, r, z, you can't sound d continuously. You can't say d, 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 d. It's just one like d. This one and one off. So when you want to teach blending, you can start with the continuous consonants, the f, r, s, v, z. Another phonics concept that I want you to be aware of is teaching word pattern. Introduce the 4 common word pattern, especially the CBCs, where you can start with at this full alphabetic stage. It is most predictable for beginners. Examples are the cat, bed, hop, sun, and so on and so forth. The goal is to develop mastery of short vowel pattern. Then you can start with short vowel word building. You can start teaching vowels systematically. You start with the short vowel. Don't jump to the long vowel or the vowel with the final E. Start with the short vowel. So when you start with the short vowel, they start building words. So you can start with the short R, the cat, jam, back. Later on, you can introduce the long vowel, the final E pattern, like the pine and the cake and the rope, those ones with the final E. You can also introduce like 2 vowels that makes 1 sound. Just let it be systematic. There are quite a number of ways that you can reinforce activities for the children, like word sorting. They can sort words by consonant sound. They can sort words by short vowel sounds or short vowel pattern. Word sorting game is one way to reinforce the activities. You can have them build 2 to 5 letter words using letter tiles or flashcards. You can present decodable text. There are control texts that match phonics that have been taught. When you teach a letter sound, you introduce them to text that talks about the particular letter sound that you talk about. For example, you're teaching A, you can present text about apple and the ant and the astronaut, a story around all of that. You can create them. So it is ideal for practicing new word pattern. How do you develop advanced decoding strategies? The prompt that I'm going to tell you is have them look at the pronounceable part. Is there a part that you know you ask the child? Then let them sound by sound. What's the first sound? Then what's the next one? Then you blend them together. They can use analogy. They can use the word they know to read the words that they are not familiar with, comparing unknown words with the known words. This word looks like cats. Oh, could it be similar? Oh, it is similar. So cat and mat and rat and vat, they are quite similar. This is a way you can support your children advanced decoding skills. Then also you can use musical instrument analogy. Learning to read at this stage can be like playing music. I don't really know how to play music, but I know my daughter is learning music in school, you know, all those notes. So they have to sound out each note. Then slowly they blend the note into a tune. Then over time, pattern become automatic. I know my daughter loves that. She practices them and all of that. I'm going to tell you that this is exactly how children move towards reading fluency. So musical notes blended together, sound letters, you blend them together, so they're kind of like similar. Students process all letters, not just cues at this stage. The blending and phonics drive word recognition. Then systematic instruction accelerate progress, and you must know reinforcement activities make learning stick. Practice, reading, blending. Then this stage lays the foundation for the consolidated alphabetic stage. Thank you for joining Inspiring Educators Enhancing Education. Subscribe for more early literacy videos. This is the only way you can encourage me to keep continuing producing videos for you, how you can support your children. And see you in the next video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.